For now, just know that much, though by no means all, of the Arab world carries with them the genes of Esau. In particular, a large segment of the Turkish population is related to Esau, as are most Syrians and the Kurdish people of Iraq. We should at least have heard of the Ottoman Empire, which ruled the Middle East for many centuries, from about 1300 to just after World War I. The Ottomans were a dominant tribe in the nation of Turkey, and it was these particular Turks who are direct descendants of Esau. And of course, these Turks are Muslim. And we know from Bible prophecy that the Turks are going to play a primary role in the events of Revelation as enemies of Israel. It all comes together, doesn't it? The thing we must also understand is that the majority of Muslims in this world are in some way or another related to Esau, even the ones in Afghanistan. So this enmity that would occur between the twin brothers, Jacob and Esau, almost 4,000 years ago, has everything to do with the condition of our world as it is right now. It's what's led up to our current situation and how it's going to all play out leading up to and through the Great Tribulation. Now, looking at a little more of the blessing, or really, I think, curse, that Esau was given, it says, "By your sword shall you live." In other words, violence, pillaging, that shall be Esau's way of gaining wealth and prosperity. And as I have explained on a number of occasions, these prophetic blessings have more effect on the person's future descendants than on the person who originally received the blessing. And that is what we find as we follow the progress of Esau's line. Esau's descendants didn't become shepherds. They became conquerors, bands of robbers who descended on caravans that passed through their lands. War was their way of life. War is even at the heart of what is now their religion.
Shalom, Apostle Tahar coming back at you with the truth, giving all praise to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Kodash. And I'm going to title this video, Esau wants to label others as Edomites. What I did was I put in who is Esau today, and a bunch of videos popped up. And this particular video I clicked on, as you can see the picture there. It's obvious that he looks like an Edomite. The name of the YouTube page is Torah Class, and the title is Esau's Curse Today. It says, Isaac's blessing on Esau haunts the world even after almost 3,800 years have passed. Let me read that again. Isaac's blessing on Esau. Well, now we all know what the blessing that Isaac gave to Esau. He gave him the sword, right? Isaac's blessing on Esau haunts the world even after almost 3,800 years have passed. So, just by the reading there, he's saying that even today we're being plagued with this evil man Esau and his descendants. So if you read this as an Israelite, you don't watch the video, you see that statement, what comes to your mind? The so-called white man. And him mentioning Isaac's blessing is clearly the sword. Now I'm going to let you, as a matter of fact, you know what? Let me go to that right now. I didn't set up any scriptures really, just going in the spirit. So based upon that title, I want to go to the scripture. When you listen to this guy, he he basically says that there's no way in hell that Edomites could be white people. That they're either Arabs, or he mentions all Arab people, not all of them, but most of them. I believe he mentions, well, you see on the screen there, he mentions Esau mixed with the Edomites mixed with the Ishmaelites. So basically their thing is they know, based upon the scriptures, that there is a person known as Esau, and his offspring are known as the Edomites. But they're saying that they're Arabs. Now they would have to know that they're the Edomites. Okay, you can read the whole chapter, but I'm going to go right to the point. This is the 37th verse. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord, which is Jacob. And this is why they hate us. This is why they hate us. This is why they're in the land of Israel. This is why they're calling themselves Israelites. Because they've been cheated, they've been supplanted, and they know that we are the Israelites. That's why they're demonizing us right now. It says, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. So ultimately Esau will be servants under us in the kingdom when his system goes down, and it's going down, and with corn and wine. And that took place going back thousands of years. They were servants. They broke the yoke after during the time of David. They were servants under David, King David, and after David they broke the yoke. This was after the time of past Solomon, past Rehoboam. That's when they broke the yoke from Judah. And with corn and with wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept, because he wasn't going to receive the blessing as the older child. The oldest son receives blessings over the younger son, or the younger sons. And Isaac his father, which by the way Isaac came back as Yahushai, answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, the best places of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shall thou. Now this Edomite, he's going to speak about how the Arabs, we know that the Edomites, because they go around with a sword. Well, every nation before the gun, Ishmaelites, Arabs, they don't fight on the field of battle with swords in their hand. They fight with guns, with whether it's AK-47s, whatever, rocket launchers, which is nothing but the modern day sword. In the ancient world, the Ishmaelites fought with swords, but so did the Edomites, and so did the Israelites. So the modern day sword is the gun, is the missile. The Most High refers to his sword as being ICBM. In other words, ICBM, the Most High refers to as his sword. It says, 40th verse, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shall serve thy brother, And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke, Israel's yoke or Judah's yoke, from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him, and they hate us to this day. That's why they're demonizing us. You have Vocab Malone saying in a video that these guys are going around claiming that they're the Israelites. Yeah, we're claiming that we're the Israelites because we are the Israelites. It says, and Esau hated, and this is Revelation 12 verse 12 coming to pass. They shall come down upon thee, for they know if they have but a short time. I just paraphrased the scripture, Revelation 12 and 12. They know they have a short time, so that's why they're coming against us. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So the fact that he lost the blessing, his in his heart was to kill Jacob, and that's why we say Esau and Jacob, when you go back prior to them being on the earth, that was the same story or similar story to Cain and Abel. Cain came back as Esau, and Abel came back as Jacob. Now it says here, we really don't even have to go into that, but you know what? It says here, this is how you prove, go right to the source. This is how you prove that Esau, Edom, are so-called white people. Obadiah 1 verse 1, the vision of Obadiah that saith the Lord concerning Edom. We have heard the rumor of the Lord, and ambassadors sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, the other nations. Thou art greatly despised, greatly hated. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock. Rocks meaning cave dwellers. You came from the caves of the Caucasus Mountains, whose habitation is high. Your modern day mountains are these buildings that you build, these skyscrapers, these buildings, that saith in his heart, in his mind, the word heart in the Hebrew is lav, which means mind, who shall bring me down to the ground? You don't think you're ever going to be brought down, and you're fighting, you're coming against the Chinese because the Chinese are taking over economically. All these unions are beginning to come together. A perfect example is the BRICS nations, which consist of, that's an acronym for what is that? Britain, if I'm not mistaken. Britain, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Then you have other unions that are propping up that no longer deal with the US dollar, which is the Federal Reserve note. And that would mean when all these nations stop dealing with the doing trade with the Federal Reserve note or the dollar, the US dollar, that's going to make the US suffer. So what does the U.S. will the U.S. have to do? They would have to come with their war machine to force you to keep using that dollar. But they have armies too. You have the Chinese that have a military. You have the Russians, the former USSR that have a military. And what they're going to do is they're going to all come together, including your European allies, and they're going to shoot these missiles on you. So ultimately, this place, Babylon the Great, will be destroyed. It says, it goes on to say, the 4th verse, though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, and your symbol is the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars. Now when you look up the word nest, the eagle's nest is in the high trees. Birds build nests for their offspring, so to speak. So they build a nest to protect them. But it says that you will be as the eagle, exalt thyself as the eagle, and set thy nest in the midst of the stars. Now when you look up that word stars, in the Hebrew is kawakab, which literally means star or stars in space. So where's the evidence of Arabs or Ishmaelites up in space? Where's the Arab space program? The only ones that are in space are you Americans and the Russians. And that's ironic. You have the Americans and the Russians. You had a space race back in the 60s, the mid to late 60s. I remember that as a child, where they were rushing to see who can get furthest out of space and ultimately go to the moon. So what do you have in outer space right now? You have satellites, which are man-made stars, you can say. And the fact that we are able to watch cable TV and deal with the internet and Wi-Fi is by these signals that go, let's say from Russia, goes to a satellite up in the sky, and then it beams down to America, China, Great Britain, Australia. That's why it's called the World Wide Web, WWW, because it's a web, invisible web. It says, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, and that's the word stars is literally stars in the heavens, meaning outer space. And your nest is what? Your nest, like I said, it's the these are satellites. Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So you started to go down really in 60, 60, 68, 69, 70. You was in the midst of the Vietnam War or conflict, police action. And prior to Vietnam, you had the all-American household. You had the father that would go out and work. There was 2 cars in the garage. You had the wife. She was able to stay home and rear up children. Now, during the draft of the Vietnam conflict, you had to send your boys to fight for your country. And when they came back, what did they come back as? They came back all messed up, all drugged up. Now you have an opioid epidemic. You Edomites are losing, but you going down fast. You going down fast. That war, that conflict brought drugs in your communities, man. I was watching this one video where I believe it's what's that? It's a lumber store. It's a lumber store. You have Ace and you have the other one. I can't remember the other one. It'll come back to me. But they pretty much lost a lot of money, millions of dollars, over people, robbing, stealing the products. Now, I used to work at this lumber store that went out of business, and everybody was robbing them, man. everybody was robbing them, because there was no way to keep tabs on that. And they were mainly Edomites. Man. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. And they're saying that the reason why they're stealing the lumber equipment and so forth is to satisfy their appetite for opioids. Because Esau, he wants to escape from reality, man. He wants to escape from reality. It's just like a lot of these people on YouTube that screen the videos. A lot of them watch our videos, man. And if you got to watch Hebrew Israelite videos every day and getting cursed out every day and being constantly called that you an Edomite, you're gonna lose it. So what was the chick that she's the head of YouTube, and she wants to get rid of certain people on YouTube, and I believe she said that she had to get counselors to counsel these people because they're watching these videos and they're bugging out, because a lot of them are beginning to believe that they're Edomites, and if they believe that they're Edomites, they would have to believe that their future is a grim one. Hey, look, we're only here to tell the truth. Esau, you can keep pushing your lies like this man. I'm gonna let you see the video, because your lies are catching up with you, man, and the curtain's coming down on you. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say, and like I said, if you deal with somebody and they say, well, prove to me that we the Edomites, you can go to a bunch of different scriptures, but this is the main one. It says it mentions the eagle. What's the American symbol? The symbol for America? The eagle. Oh, the president looks like an eagle. Donald Trump looks like an eagle. You look at him from the side profile, he looks like a straight up eagle with a nest on his head. And that shows you the Most High has a sense of humor. And you set your nest among the stars. The Arabs never did that. Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So anyway, I'm gonna say shalom, and you just watch the video of the Edomite. Shalom.